Hello, my dear well wishers, my dear students, boys and girls. Tonight's topic of discussion is combining with noun clause. That is, combining two or more than two simple sentences into one complex sentence by using noun clause. Okay? However, I don't want to make my introduction lengthy, but before starting my lesson, I must give you the definition of noun clause. A clause that acts as a noun is a noun clause. Remember it. I am dictating in a very slow motion. A clause that acts as a noun is a noun clause. Then what are the functions of a noun clause? It can act as the subject to a verb. It can act as the object to a verb. It can act as the complement to a verb. It can act as the complement to the preposition. It can act as noun in a position or case in a position or phrase in a position. Clear? And noun clause plays a vital role in making complex sentence. Okay, I am starting my lesson. My first sentence is, please write down after watching the video, after listening to my video, please write them down, the examples that I am giving. Okay, my first example, Sir Jesse Bowles proved the life of a plant. He did it. He did it with the help of crystallograph. Full stop. Now, there are two sentences. In the first sentence, proved is the finite verb. In the second sentence, did is the finite verb. Now, let us join. Answer. Sir Jesse Bowles proved with the help of crystallograph. It is an instrument. It is a very delicate instrument, crystallograph, that can measure the heartbeat of a plant. Clear? Sir Jesse Bowles proved with the help of crystallograph that plants have also life. Plants have also life. Now let us analyze the sentence for your understanding. Number one, Sir Jesse Bowles proved with the help of crystallograph. It is principal clause. It is a principal clause and it is independent clause. That plants have also life, subordinate noun clause. Why is it noun clause? Because it is acting as the object to the verb proved. What did he prove? He proved that plants have also life. Ask the finite verb of the principal clause with what, and it will give you the answer directly, and this answer is object. This answer is object. So this clause, that is the subordinate clause, is acting as the object to the verb proved. Okay? It can be converted into subject to the verb. Noun clause, subject to the verb. For example, please write down, or that plants have also life. Sorry. That plants have also life. Life was proved by Sir J.C. Bose with the help of crystallograph. With the help of crystallograph. Full stop. Now it is an example of subject to the verb, but noun clause. That plants have also life. This portion is acting as the subject. Whose subject? Was proved. Was proved. So, that plants have also life. First bracket, start. Start your first bracket. That plants have also life was proved by Sir J.C. Bose with the help of crystallograph. It is entirely a principal clause. Totally a principal clause. That plants have also life, subordinate noun clause. And this clause is acting as the subject to the verb was proved. Was proved. Am I clear? So it can be written both as object to the verb and subject to the verb. Now let us go to the second example. Let us go to the second example. For example, Mr. Ramesh was a detective. Mr. Ramesh was a detective. Okay. Second sentence. It was unknown to the people of the locality. It was unknown to the people of the locality. Okay. Now let us join by using noun clause, but in two different ways. Both are noun clause, but in two different methods. For example, it was unknown to the people of the locality. Answer. Let us write down. It was unknown to the people of the locality that Mr. Ramesh was a detective. That Mr. Ramesh was a detective. Okay? Full stop. And let us analyze the sentence. How is it made? You see that was unknown, finite verb. So it is the principal clause. It was unknown to the people of the locality. It is the independent clause. It is the principal clause. That Mr. Ramesh was a detective, it depends on the principal clause. So it is subordinate clause and subordinate noun clause. And case in apposition or noun in apposition to it. What is it? What is it? It is a very peculiar grammar, and if we analyze the sentence, many of us will make a tremendous mistake that it is object to the verb was unknown. No, it is noun in apposition or case in apposition to it. What is it? That Mr. Ramesh was a detective. That Mr. Ramesh was a detective. It is noun clause, that is dependent clause or subordinate clause, and it has been acting as the apposition of it. Apposition of it. Am I clear? Then second method, or that Mr. Ramesh was a detective. That Mr. Ramesh was a detective was unknown to the people of the locality. Okay? Was unknown to the people of the locality. Now let us analyze the sentence for your understanding. That Mr. Ramesh was a detective was unknown to the people of the locality. It is totally a principal clause, entirely a principal clause. That Mr. Ramesh was a detective is acting as the subject. Is acting as the subject to the verb was unknown. Was unknown. So, that Mr. Ramesh was a detective, subordinate noun clause. Subordinate noun clause, and it is unambiguously acting as the subject to the verb was unknown. So, it is an example of subordinate noun clause or noun clause subject to the verb. Now let us go to the third example. Let us go to the third example. Mr. Banerjee heard the news of his son's success. Mr. Banerjee heard the success of his son's success of his son. Full stop. He leaped up with joy. He leaped up with joy. Okay. Mr. Banerjee heard the success of his son. He leaped up with joy. And if you are asked to combine the two simple sentences into one complex sentence by using noun clause only, what will you do? What will you do then? Let us try. Answer. On hearing that his son succeeded. Succeeded is verb. Success is noun. Succeeded is verb and success is noun. On hearing, on is preposition, hearing is gerund. On is preposition and hearing is gerund. On hearing that his son succeeded, comma, Mr. Banerjee leaped up with joy. Okay. Now let us analyze the sentence. On hearing Mr. Banerjee leaped up with joy. Principal clause. Undoubtedly principal clause. On hearing Mr. Banerjee leaped up with joy. That his son succeeded. Subordinate noun clause. On hearing what? On hearing the news. Let us write the words news. On hearing the news that his son succeeded, Mr. Banerjee leaped up with joy. So, that his son succeeded, Mr. Banerjee leaped up with joy. You see that lift up is finite verb. And that his son succeeded, it is subordinate noun clause. On hearing the news, Mr. Banerjee leaped up with joy, it is principal clause. That his son succeeded, subordinate noun clause. And case in opposition or noun in opposition to news. What is the news? The news is that his son succeeded. I omitted the news to make you understand that here news is omitted. But no, you will have to write the news. Okay? Let us come to the fourth example. Fourth example, birds of a feather flock together. Birds of a feather flock together. That means people of the same category live together. People of the same profession live together. Okay? Birds of a feather flock together. It is a proverb. It is a proverb. That is a saying. Okay? The proverb is not true. The proverb is not true. Okay? There are three sentences, three simple sentences, and you have been asked to combine into one complex sentence. So, the proverb that the birds of a feather flock together. The proverb that the birds of a feather flock together is not true. Is not true. Okay? Now let us analyze the sentence. The proverb is not true. The proverb is not true. It is principal clause. What is the proverb? The proverb is that the birds of a feather flock together. It is acting as the apposition. What is the proverb? That the birds of a feather flock together. So, case in apposition or noun in apposition to proverb. Okay? Now, come to the fifth example. Come to the fifth example, and it is the last example. For example, Mr. Banerjee lost her purse on the Mr. Banerjee lost his purse on his way home. Mr. Banerjee lost his purse on his way home. It was revealed later. It was revealed later. Okay? It can be combined into two different ways. It was revealed later. It was revealed later that Mr. Banerjee lost his purse on his way home. On his way home. Okay? It was revealed later. It is principal clause. What was revealed later? That Mr. Banerjee lost his purse on his way home. And it is subordinate noun clause. Case in opposition to it. Case in opposition to it or noun in opposition to it. It may be written in another way. That Mr. Banerjee lost his purse. That Mr. Banerjee lost his purse on his way home. On his way home was revealed later. Okay? So, that Mr. Banerjee lost his purse, it is acting as the subject. That Mr. Banerjee lost his purse on his way home, it is acting as the subject. Subject. Subject to the verb was revealed. So, that Mr. Banerjee lost his purse on his way home was revealed later. It is an example of principal clause. That Mr. Banerjee lost his purse on his way home was on his way home. It is acting as the subject. A clause is acting as the subject to the verb was revealed. So it is subject to the verb. I hope that I am able to make you understand how in different ways noun clause can be constructed. Two or more than two simple sentences can be combined into a complex sentence by using noun clause in different ways. So you will have to understand it, you will have to grasp it. Stay safe, stay good. Your exam is knocking at the door. Your competitive exam is knocking at the door. So don't forget to subscribe my channel, to like, to comment and to share. Thank you all of you. Good night.